Oh, hey guys, welcome to Nintendo Unleashed. Sorry for that EB Games reference, but I just can't stop thinking about that advertisement. This is episode 83 of Nintendo Unleashed. I'm here with Conor.
Hola.
And this is BlazeKick's weekly Nintendo podcast. Today we've got not many topics, but a couple major things to discuss. A lot of new info for Pokemon Sun and Moon, as well as the Nintendo announcements to come out of Apple's keynote event. Never thought I would be saying that.
And quite a bit of questions.
Yeah. There are some unique ones this week, that's for sure. So, as always, we're going to start off with talking about which games we've been playing throughout this week. Conor, I'll let you start.
So I've been playing this dank game called Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I forgot to talk about that last week. I'm almost done.
Nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I've asked you this before, but I forget. Is this your first time playing it, or are you replaying it?
Technically replaying. I never beat the final boss the first time, though.
Got it. Cool.
And I didn't actually play any Love Live this week at all.
Wow.
I know.
That might be the biggest plot twist on this week's episode.
I played about an hour of Journey last night, and that was cool.
Nice.
I ran into some random person, and for some reason they kept trying to make me 100% because I don't know if you've played it, but there's these orb things hidden around, and every time you get one, your little scarf thing gets bigger.
Right.
So he kept trying to make me get all of them, and I just ran off, and then he was like, "God damn it, why?"
Oh, wow. Yeah, I played that game once at a Best Buy demo kiosk, which probably isn't the optimal playing experience for that game.
Yeah, probably not.
I would love to actually own it, but unfortunately, I don't own a system which can play it currently. Cool. Is that it for you this week?
I also played the sequel visual novel to Clannad called Tomo After, which, if you were like me and avoided playing it because of the huge amount of hentai right at the start, the Steam version has that all taken out, so it's pretty good so far. So
Nice.
Glad they released a censored version because that was kind of weird.
And I had a really good weekend last week of games. I haven't really been playing much throughout the week, but last weekend first I beat Kirby Triple Deluxe, or not Triple Deluxe. That would be, man. No, I beat Kirby Planet Robobot, which I loved. I guess it's okay to talk about the final boss a little bit, maybe? When did the game come out? May?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the final boss was very cool. I'm not sure if I want to spoil it. What I will say, I like how it changed up the gameplay style, and it wasn't traditional Kirby, like a boss battle. It was definitely very unique. So that game was great. I did a little bit of Kirby 3D Rumble as well, and I platinumed the first level. I'll probably get the last two eventually, but that's enjoyable. I think a 3D Kirby game could work. Additionally, after I beat that, I played some Yoshi's Woolly World because I needed more platformer. That's a game I got for Christmas, but only played about the first world of just because I had so many other games to focus on. But coming back to it, it's still so good. And for me, one of the best things about that game is honestly the Wii remote controls are so good because you can, and for some reason the gamepad doesn't support it despite having gyro. But when you're playing with the Wii remote, to aim it's usually eggs in Yoshi games, but in this one it's yarn balls. To aim the yarn balls in all the other games, you sort of have to wait for it to go up and down. But in this one, you can tilt the Wii remote precisely and quickly aim, and I love that so much.
Yeah.
The amiibo support in that game is great as well. I scanned in my Mega Man for the first time, and I love how Yoshi has the red dots on his cheeks, the big red circle like Mega Man. It's just it's so good.
The 3DS version has gyro.
Oh, does it?
I don't know. I said hopefully.
Oh, hopefully.
The gamepad doesn't. So
right, it's kind of weird that it. Hopefully it does. I'm also curious if that version will have 3D. I feel like it won't, but regardless, that'll probably be, if you don't have a Wii U, definitely pick the game up on 3DS. It looks like a good port so far. Plus that Poochie amiibo is just fantastic. I also played, I bought both Axiom Verge and 3D Picross Round 2. I played a lot of Axiom. I played Axiom Verge for about 2 hours straight. I think I made it to the third area, and it's really good so far. I've actually never beaten a Metroid. The one I've come closest to beating is Fusion because I'm not as good at Super Metroid because I find it to be it's obviously more obtuse. I acknowledge how good it is, but it's very obtuse. This game hopefully I'll beat, and hopefully this will sort of open the gateway for me to beat the others as well. I also want to beat Zero Mission, which I have on my Wii U as well. So that game's very good. 3D Picross Round 2 I've been enjoying. There's definitely been some frustrations in terms of, like the difficulty settings, because I feel inclined to play it on hard because that's the only way to earn the platinum medals for every stage. And I found it, doable up to a certain point, but then the difficulty just had this massive spike. And it's been frustrating, but I'm working my way through it, and I'm determined because I want to get good at Picross, and I really like the setup for the game. They're always really entertaining to solve for me. So that's it for me this week.
I forgot a game that I played this week that I said I probably wasn't gonna play and then did. That is Pokemon Go.
Oh right, yeah, you were having so many. You had so many tweets.
Yeah, I was bored at my grandparents' house and just played it, and they live pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and I kept getting like nonstop Pokemon. There's pretty much Magikarp and I think Drowsy that kept appearing. Then I don't play much at home, but at school there's like all of my classes have Pokestops like right outside.
Okay.
So I can just like before class or during break or something, I can just sit there and use the Pokestops.
Right. That's why Pokemon Go Plus is going to be the best, because you don't have to have your phone. You can just tap that little button every 5 minutes.
And
assuming that's how it works.
In the first couple days, people were just like walking around putting lures on all the Pokestops.
That's good. That's good stuff.
Oh, hype.
So anyway, for the Nintendo download this week, there's a lot of stuff available this week. Some of it I have a difficult time kind of judging the quality of, but on the Wii U eShop, Jotun Valhalla Edition, which is the second game in the whole Nindy current promotion that they're doing, so it's 10% off for a week, and that puts it at $13.49. And apparently, it's already out on other systems, and it has, it's been well regarded. It has an overhead view, and it sort of reminds me of Zelda a little bit, but more simple, possibly. Kind of hard to judge. It looks like there might be more focus on combat. There's a new game from Treefall Studios, who brought you what was that game?
The Letter.
Oh yeah, The Letter. New game from RC Maniacs, so good stuff. On the Wii U Virtual Console, Mario Strikers Charged, which I might just pick up. I really enjoy. I've never actually owned one, but every time I play those games, I love them. And that is from Next Level Games, and that's $20 on the Wii U eShop. On the 3DS eShop, the new Phoenix Wright game, Ace Attorney: Spirit of Justice, which is not available at retail. It's an eShop only game for $30. There's also a demo, which I actually played on the BlazeKick YouTube channel in a 20-minute impressions video. So if you're interested, maybe go check that out or download the demo for yourself. On the as a new 3DS exclusive, Futuridium EP Deluxe, which was already out on Wii U. It's been compared to Star Fox, but more. I mean, Star Fox is already arcade-like, but this is even more arcade-like. Instead of going through a level, you're sort of circling around a ship and trying to hit enemies and things that are flying around it. And it's already out on Wii U, and it actually has cross-buy. It's $8 if you don't own it, but if you already own it on Wii U, you get it for free. So it's pretty cool. And apparently it has 60 frames per second with 3D on, which is always great. Another new 3DS exclusive on the Virtual Console, Super Castlevania 4. And it's, that's definitely highly regarded as one of the best in the series. Of course, there's no cross-buy on that because that would be too obvious. And in terms of themes this week, there are a bunch for the new Ace Attorney game. So pretty good this week. If I had to assign a pick of the week, I would probably say Mario Strikers. What do you think?
Yeah, probably either Mario Strikers or I forget the name of it already, but the Nindy Summer game, just because it's on sale and Nintendo's promoting it.
Yeah, either, I mean, I'm gonna go with Mario Strikers just because that's the only one I've actually played. Although definitely probably check out Jotun though, especially while it's on sale. And unfortunately, that means the sale on Axiom Verge is done, so it's back up to, I think, how much does the game cost? $20? But it's definitely still worth it at that price. So pretty good week all around. Anyway, so moving into the news, we were talking, or I mentioned the Apple event earlier, and yeah, there was some pretty surprising stuff this week. So at Apple's keynote event where they talked about the iPhone 7, as well as their new iOS, this Nintendo came, specifically Miyamoto came on stage, which just completely kind of blew everyone away a little bit. And he announced Super Mario Run for iOS. Well, it appears to be a timed exclusive. And everyone was kind of freaking out about this because, I mean, I don't think anyone expected to see the Mario iOS game before Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem, but here it is. It is a level-based runner as opposed to an endless one. There are sort of like challenges, and there's like a multiplayer ghost type mode. There's some sort of Mushroom Kingdom creation type deal. It's a bit unclear what that is. When I initially read it, it sounded like a level creator, but it might be sort of like a Farmville-ish type thing.
Woo.
Where you build, maybe, with like castles and stuff. Apparently you use the coins you've collected in levels. You can probably also buy coins. And I think the game looks cool. I mean, they're really touting the fact that the controls are simple and you can play with one hand. Obviously, it's not really going to have the same level of, exploration as the standard 2D Mario games because you can't really influence your movement or your direction too much. But I do like the score-based system, so it'll be good. Hopefully, it incorporates the leaderboards via Game Center or something like that. Hopefully, the multiplayer is enjoyable, and hopefully, the Kingdom Builder thing is fun. The other thing worth noting, there was a bit of confusion over the price of this game. Because it initially sounded like maybe you would have to pay to download it, but then we found out it's free to download and you can sort of pay in-game to get the full version. So yeah, this game will be launching in December 1st on iOS. Connor, despite you not being an iOS user, do you think once this does make its way to Android, you'll be checking it out?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people have been saying, like, oh, an endless runner, that's too generic. And while, to some degree, endless runner is sort of like an easy genre to pick. I mean, I feel like for Mario, it makes total sense on mobile. Just because, Mario is all about moving and jumping, and that's what runners are all about. And, taking that core gameplay and putting it on a phone, you're going to have to simplify it. And I feel like that's a pretty good way of doing it. Mm-hmm. Of course, there are a lot of people who are expecting, like a port of the classic games or like a brand new 2D Mario, but you have to understand Nintendo is designing games on iOS to be intuitive and simple, or not just iOS, but mobile as a whole. So they're really not going to be, planting virtual D-pads on things as intuitive as some people really think that is. But it seems like, despite the reactions from those people who think that, it's not a full Mario game, I'm disappointed, it seems like a generally positive reaction, especially from investors who have been wanting this for the longest time.
I think the pricing thing, if they're doing it in the basically if what it is you download it for free and then buying the full game is considered a microtransaction, mm-hmm. I think that's actually a pretty smart move because it's, like I've mentioned before with the paid games on Android, it's so easy to just pirate stuff that will probably cut into their profit. But as far as I know, there's no easy way to pirate microtransactions without hacking into the game.
Mm-hmm. So maybe, do you think they thought about that? It's possible.
Yeah, I think they might have.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they looked at all the people downloading Tomo via, in improper methods, and they thought, maybe we should do something to protect our paid apps in the future.
Or even Pokemon Go, because it launched in the
it was probably an even bigger situation with Pokemon Go. Absolutely. So that definitely makes sense. And what people have been speculating is whether there are going to be other microtransactions as well, because on the game or on the App Store page it says in-app purchases available. Now, of course, we know the one in-app purchase is going to be, here's the full version. But, it's unclear whether there is going to be a way to get coins or costumes or different, skins or anything like that. Some have been kind of speculating, hoping for like a Mario World or Mario 3, like a Mario 3 type skin, which I'm not sure how likely that is. I kind of feel like it's unlikely, but you never know. Now the only well, I mean, I personally am a little bit disappointed. The only thing to come out of this announcement, which made me feel that way, was that this sort of delayed the other Nintendo mobile apps which were coming. Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing are now not coming until early 2017, and there's no longer a fifth game coming out within that window, so presumably coming out after or not at all. And Nintendo's kind of, I mean, they haven't really made clear their reasoning for doing that switch. What do you think? What do you think that is? What do you think their reasoning for this is?
I think Fire Emblem's still like a pretty niche series, especially outside of already Nintendo fans.
Right.
So I think it makes sense to get Mario before it. Animal Crossing, I'm not really sure about because it's, especially with New Leaf, it's become fairly mainstream, and New Leaf's still active today, even with people who aren't like hardcore Nintendo fans.
Right.
So I'm not really sure about that. The only thing I can really think of is maybe those games are more complicated or something, and
possibly
took more time, so they decided to focus on Mario Run to get one out first.
Right. Okay, so maybe it was just an issue of like just pure development time. Yeah, that's absolutely. I hadn't really considered that actually, but that seems possible as well. And I do think, I mean, I feel like there's a couple pros and cons. You know, I feel like, I mean, obviously everybody knows Mario. And everybody's going to recognize this, and you know, it's going to get more downloads than those games likely would, or at all. Period. Like that's a definitive statement. So I think hopefully they will have a way to show consumers, you like this app? Well, now we just released a new app for Animal Crossing, which you might be familiar with. You know, I don't know if they're going to have a way of doing that in app or something. But the thing is, mobile consumers aren't really, or at least under my impressions, don't really seem interested in properties as much as new games. Like, they don't seem to follow a developer or follow a series, at least for the most part. I mean, there are some exceptions. Like, for instance, Clash of Clans was followed by Clash Royale, which is from the same developer. So it's kind of hard to judge that piece.
Angry Birds and Candy Crush were also, their sequels were pretty popular.
That's true. So I guess maybe I should give mobile consumers a little more credit in that regard. And hopefully they can do some sort of in-app advertising. I mean, they definitely went with Tomo, but Tomo engagements won't be nearly as high as Mario Run engagements by the time the Animal Crossing app is out. So how are they going to do that? I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to try to do, hopefully, a lot of advertising on YouTube and social media and that kind of thing. But, I mean, you know, on the other side, I'm just a little bit afraid that Mario might overshadow the others. Armando and I had a separate discussion video, and we sort of pointed out if they launch too close to one another, that might lead to overshadowing. For instance, we know this game's coming in December, and if, you know, Fire Emblem comes in January, is that going to help or hurt it? I would imagine Nintendo's thought this through, though. You know, this is definitely probably not a new idea for them, so I'm not too worried, honestly.
I can't wait for Fire Emblem to be a Clash of Clans, but slightly different clone, and Animal Crossing to be like Simpsons Tapped Out or something.
That would not surprise me at all. Or even like, actually, I'm trying to think which kind of Nintendo game would take on like a match 3. I mean, obviously Pokemon Shuffle already has. I feel like Kirby would be the game to do like a Candy Crush type clone.
And then there's also the Gacha card mobile games.
And like, you think Fire Emblem? Well, I guess both Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing could kind of work with that.
Pokemon could also work with that.
Yeah, a lot of Nintendo games, honestly.
Pretty much anything could work with that as long as there's enough characters people want to collect.
Right. But yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, it's good to see what Mario is. Honestly, I wasn't sure what to expect from Mario. Like, I wasn't sure if I should expect traditional Mario gameplay, which I consider this to be, or something with Mario, but a completely different style of gameplay. You know, because this is Nintendo's first mobile game, so we honestly had no precedent.
Or they could have done Mario Party Mobile. Right.
Or even, I mean, I feel like Mario Kart eventually, I was talking up an idea on Twitter, like Mario Kart Mini with like, you know, simplified everything and like maybe only 8 courses. I feel like something like that could do really well. It's just a question of whether Nintendo's willing to put Mario Kart on phones, you know, whether that would cannibalize their hardware sales. It's hard to say. But yeah, definitely an exciting, half of a year ahead for Nintendo's mobile stuff. I kind of wish Mario was coming a bit sooner than December, but I'm sure people will still be excited for it. And in terms of Pokemon Go, of course, Pokemon Go was mentioned there because it, according to them, it has now accumulated 500 million downloads, which is a lot of downloads. So now Pokemon Go, well, there's a couple things. So first, it's coming to Apple Watch. And did you watch any of the presentation for Pokemon Go? It seems like a simplified version on Apple Watch, where
I've seen video clips. It looks kind of like a in between of just playing it on your phone and playing with Pokemon Go Plus.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't appear that you have the map thing at any point with your trainer, but you have like nearby, and you can check on your Pokemon stats. I don't know if, well, I would assume you could do Pokespots in gyms or Pokestops in gyms. It would kind of be dumb if you couldn't. But I honestly don't know. We'll see. And I didn't see any capture footage either. I feel like it might be a really simpler interface. But I guess we'll see. And I couldn't tell when that's coming.
I don't think they said.
Okay.
I think they said by the end of 2016, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, that seems logical. Additionally, Pokemon Go Plus, the little watch accessory which works with the phone game, finally has a release date. It's coming out on September 16th, which I guess is a bit sooner than I thought, just because we hadn't heard anything about it for a long time, except that it was delayed. So it's finally coming. We didn't really get any new details, but it's still, I think it was like a $30 price point on that thing.
I thought it was $34.
Something like that. It's
$34.99 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. But that should, I expect that to do pretty well. Even though, the casual hype for the game is kind of died down, I think the hype of like the core fan base that's playing the game is still alive and well based on the fact that it's still #1 top grossing.
I've seen a bunch of people playing it on the bus. Mm-hmm. Not really sure how well that works because you'd think it would, because doesn't it like come up and say you're moving too fast, stop playing while driving?
Well, I think they were going to implement that, but what they actually did was like you can click a button that says "I'm a passenger" and it will go away. Now, what being on the bus disables is you getting footsteps, because you don't get distance walked for hatching eggs. You won't accumulate that over a certain speed, but you can still catch Pokemon, and if you're fast enough to tap that, you can get the Pokestops. I've actually become pretty skilled at that. While someone else is driving, the thing is you can't tap it ahead of time. You have to tap it as soon as it becomes available. And spin very fast. So there's definitely a way to get those stops, assuming they're along the side of the road. But yeah, I expect this to do pretty well. Hopefully it's well stocked in retailers, and assuming it is, I expect it to sell out pretty quickly. Anyway, so now sort of shifting to the other side of the Pokemon spectrum, we have a bunch of new stuff for Pokemon Sun and Moon. And did it all come out of the trailer, or was there some separate non-trailer footage, right? Or maybe not? I don't know.
Most of the stuff came from the trailer. Then there was one thing that came from the Japanese trailer, which we also got. It's the live action thing. There was a sequel to it, and which I don't think we actually mentioned, but the Pokemon Company International uploaded the 2 live action trailers for Sun and Moon, the reveal one Japan got, and then the recent one. And there's also one thing that came from, I think it was a Famitsu ad.
Was that the Oak?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we're going to dive right into these details. I'm going to let Connor, I think, carry this because he can probably speak a bit better about it.
Okay, so just first off, let's just start with the Japanese thing. What appears to be Cutie Fly's evolution was shown in the live-action trailer. It didn't give a name or reveal it, and this Pokemon hasn't appeared on the website or anything. Mm-hmm. But it just shows something that basically looks like a bigger Cutie Fly being caught. And it's only for a couple seconds. So that's really all we have on that right now. But whatever. Then after that, we got two new Pokemon. Yeah, 2 new Pokemon.
Yeah, one of them's really weird.
Well, they both kind of have weird names.
Yeah.
There's Jengamoo, which is Mo and then dash, then O
Mhm.
again. So I'm
That's
not really sure.
Yeah.
It's dragon type, and it can have bulletproof or soundproof for its ability. This thing, it's probably going to evolve. It's like a cute little dragon, has a little heart on its head. So I'd say it's probably the like Dratini, Garchomp, or Gibble, Goomy of this generation.
Right.
Uh,
And there's this other little freak show.
yeah, it's
With a
called
weird.
it's called Type Null, but it's normal type, not nothing type. When that first popped up, I thought they were introducing a new type. That's why are they introducing Null type? So it's the synthetic Pokemon, which I guess means it was created by someone. Which I mean, looking at it, that's pretty obvious. It looks like someone like some Dr. Frankenstein got a hold of a bunch of body parts and sewed them together and made this thing.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like sort of different creatures sort of mashed together. Um, it has like a weird thing on its back or its head or something. I don't know. I don't even know. Um, have we heard any of like the lore about this thing? Like, do we know any information about it other than its name?
No. There have been a couple fan theories. One of them is for its hidden ability, it's going to have multi-type, and it's basically like a failed clone of Arceus. Because Arceus is all types, while he's apparently no types.
Mm.
So that's mainly what
Oh,
it's based off, as well as something else that was revealed in the trailer. But
And he kind of has a similar like body shape to Arceus, right?
yeah,
He's sort of like a horse a little.
yeah, it's close.
Interesting.
There was also a new Alola form, which not too surprising, I guess. Alola Eradicate. It's dark normal. It can have Gluttony or Hustle, just like Rattata. Basically, is completely black instead of brown or tan, I guess.
Yeah.
And has big puffy cheeks. So that's pretty hype, I
Looks
guess.
good. Yeah. It kind of looks like a chipmunk almost. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very fat.
And then we also, right at the end of the trailer, got this weird confirmation thing of Ultra Beasts, as well as a look at UB01, which Ultra Beast #1, so there's probably more than one.
Right.
A lot of people have been pointing out the similarities between it and Lily, with the little part at the top looking like her hat, and some of its tentacles looking like her hair and pigtails. So
it would be weird if she was it.
yeah, that's been a pretty relevant theory, because when she was first announced, it was like there's something special about her. Now suddenly we have these Ultra Beasts. However, there was also a pretty prominent theory when Gen 5 was being promoted that N was a Zoroark, because they were kind of promoted together. So we're not it's not 100% yet. I'd say there's probably some relation between Lily and this Ultra Beast. We also don't know if you can catch it, because like it's not listed as a Pokemon, and they kind of make it seem like it's not a Pokemon.
It seems like it's like a separate creature, which is a first. So
yeah. The Japanese trailer also revealed Wishy-Washy would be a totem Pokemon, which, I mean, cool. Okay.
Yep.
And then the rest of the stuff in the trailer. First off, we got a new Team Skull admin, Gladion, who most of the internet has been pretty quick to point out is basically Dio from JoJo's with his poses. So I guess that's hype. And then we got a new thing, I guess. I don't really know what to call them. The Aether Foundation.
Yeah, they seem like just another team, sort of. So
Yeah.
maybe friendly, but maybe evil. We don't know.
Yeah. That mechanical island in the middle of Alola, or man-made island in the middle of Alola, is theirs, not the Pokemon League like most people were speculating. We see that their admins are the president Lusamine, the branch chief Chief, Faba, and the other one, Wiki. So we don't know too much about them. A lot of people are now speculating that they're the true evil team.
It wouldn't be too surprising.
Uh,
I don't know. They have a
fact,
vibe.
The fact they have that artificial island makes me think that if the Arceus theory is true, they were the ones that failed at cloning Arceus, and the Ultra Beasts are probably related to them.
Yeah.
Also says their goal is to take care of Pokemon, so I don't know how legit that is. Team Plasma said pretty much the same thing, and they were evil, so.
Right. Yeah, and it would be interesting to see how, if they have a relationship with Team Skull at all. Because maybe they're against each other, but they're also both evil. Like, maybe they have conflicting interests.
Could be like Team Magma and Aqua.
Oh, that's right. This game is shaping up to actually have a semi-interesting story, which is, new. I mean, to be fair, it just seems like based on all the characters, it seems unique. Of course, yeah. Pokemon Black had, that game's regarded as having a good story as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like this one, at least based on the characters so far, will be, pretty interesting to go through.
At least the team is more interesting, no matter which one it is more interesting than Team Flare was.
Yeah.
Admin. They all look the same, but they're all admins.
Yeah.
There's like 20 admins that fight you right before Xerneas or Yveltal. Why are there so many admins, and why do they all look the same? And a few gameplay things were also revealed, which it's been quite a while actually since we got gameplay stuff. I think the Alola challenge was the last thing a couple months ago. But if you play Pokemon Moon, then you'll be playing in night basically when it's day. It's 12 hours off. Whereas Sun, it's the same time as whatever your 3DS clock is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of weird.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool, but kind of weird.
Right. Honestly, that's just motivation for me to get Moon because, I think that's the first game to ever do that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if it's the first game ever, but it's the first Pokemon.
It's the first one. Because obviously, the Pokemon games have had that. So I think it'll just be, if I buy Moon, that'll be an interesting way to mix it up, basically.
Dusk Balls are going to be pretty OP.
Do they like work better at night or something?
Yeah, they if it's night or in a cave, aside from Master Ball, they're the highest catch rate Pokeball.
Oh wow.
So unless there's something altered, then Dusk Balls are going to be pretty OP in Pokemon Moon.
Yeah. I doubt they would change it. That would feel kind of cheap.
Maybe they make it so in Moon it counts as night when it's bright out.
Oh god, that would be terrible.
That'd be pretty weird.
Mm-hmm.
There was also, what's it called? Pokemon Showcase?
Is that the photo thing?
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. I can't say for sure.
It's kind of like Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, just a bit simpler. Less movement.
And your Rotom rates it instead of Oak. Rates the Pokemon in pictures instead of Oak. And
I saw like thumbs up or something. Can you post them to some sort of network?
Yeah, we aren't really sure. Look, there was comments and ratings and stuff. Right. So we aren't sure if those are NPCs or if you can actually post them online and people can comment. With Pokemon, if people can comment, it would be all pre-loaded comments. Right. You can't type it.
Unless they start, it was weird because one of the comments had a face emoticon. It was the shrug or something. So it just does. It was weird. It didn't seem like that was an NPC thing. So, I don't know. Hopefully it's user based. That would be kind of interesting if you could rate photos and there was an online gallery.
Oh, it's Pokefinder.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and something we also forgot was it was revealed that the totem Pokemon would also change depending on the version, with Gumshoes being in Sun and Raticate being in Moon. However, I don't think we're sure if that's actually a night and day difference or a version difference.
Oh, so it could potentially change what time of day it is in the game, based on that?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
And one last thing from the trailer, they revealed how you're going to get the Zygarde forms, I guess. The two, I guess they're assistants of Professor Sycamore from X and Y, appear to show up in Sun and Moon, and there's a Zygarde cell collection quest I'm not sure how many you need to get or how long through the game this lasts, but I guess once you get them all, then you can use Zygarde's forms. If Arms is here, he might know better how that is because it's more of an anime thing right now. So unfortunately, we can't help too much with that. There was also, I think it was a Famitsu trailer, I'm not sure, that revealed Professor Oak's cousin will be showing up. We don't know what he does. His name's Samson Oak in the English version. So yeah, we really don't. He's really tan and has nice flowing locks.
Yeah, he appears to be a native Alolan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. As you said, I'm pretty sure if he was this tan and wasn't native, he'd probably have skin cancer.
Unless it's a fake tan, you never know. That's possible as well.
Yeah, because when it was first revealed, like it just says Oak in the name thing. So a lot of people thought it was like Professor Oak from Kanto, and he'd probably be dying if he was that tan.
Right. So I think that's it, right? Any more tidbits to come out of that info, or is that?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think this, and would you say this was like the biggest amount of info we've got since the game was revealed? It seems like a lot.
E3 might have given more because it gave Young Goose
and the Battle Royale thing, right?
Battle Royale. What's that thing called? The Charge Bug. I think it's lower evolution though. Plus, it gave a couple other things, I think. And I think it teased Totem Pokemon. Okay. So, overall, E3 probably gave most, but that's to be expected. That's E3, not just like a random trailer.
Right.
This is definitely like the quickest information because we just got Alola Rattata and a few other things from the Direct. And then Korokoro's next week, and they already said there's going to be another trailer on the 14th. So, looks like we're back to weekly Pokemon news.
So that's, I'd say it's pretty good stuff. Doesn't seem like anyone's upset with any of it. I think we're, personally both fine with it all. And most of it's just exciting. My hype for the game is definitely building.
And at least a lot of this stuff, like there was only 2 new Pokemon, but there was still quite a bit of information. So that makes me hope they're slowing down on revealing new Pokemon because like a few times ago we had like 5 or 6 Pokemon at once.
And now we just had 2, right?
Yeah, just 2 new. So hopefully they're slowing down because I mean,
you don't want to spoil it.
I'm not one that normally cares about like discovering the Pokemon, but it still feels like they're revealing too much. I mean, we're getting like I don't know any other game that gives pretty much 3 trailers a month. Like they're not really huge trailers, but reveals like 3 big kind of information.
It seems like the only other game that gives out this much information is like Smash Bros or something. I mean, but it's not nearly as frequent. It's more like a lot of information in short bursts or kind of like long presentations, but not close to each other. I'm regardless looking forward to it. Anyway, so like we said earlier, we have some unique questions this week. So we're going to dive right in and kind of do our best here. First, from our buddy Big Mike 8109, who has a podcast, by the way. It's called Said Enough Games.
He's also on Podcast Scorpio.
Right. His question is, do you ever read the tags on shirts to wash them correctly, or do you just toss them all in and 0 F's given? I generally just toss them all in. Occasionally if there's like not really.
If it's like a dress shirt, I'll read it properly.
Yeah, if there's like a shirt that's particularly unique for some reason.
But like if I'm just washing T-shirts and stuff, then like for the most part those are fine just being thrown in. But I don't. It's just a T-shirt. I don't really care if it gets like a little mixed coloring or whatever happens when you don't wash it properly.
Right. So that answers that. Next from Disturbed One on Twitter, will Nintendo see some backlash from mobile users due to Apple's timed exclusivity, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
To their mobile games. And this is coming from an Android user who now has no desire to play these mobile games due to it. I personally don't think they'll see any backlash because money talks in this case. You know, they struck a deal with Apple, and unfortunately, while some may feel abandoned, it's kind of just a case of like, they made a deal, you know.
And besides, it's not like Mario Run's going to be like spoiled all over the internet because Android users have to wait up. Like
final boss, Bowser.
Whoa, no spoilers. But like, it's the kind of game that you want to play. It doesn't really matter how much you've seen it before you play it. Like, if you're interested, I mean, I can't really speak for everyone, but it's not story based or anything, and it looks more about like challenging scores and times and stuff. So I think it's more the type of game that's almost better once you've seen people play it, because then you
like the goal is to improve and just get really good at it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like, oh man, I've seen what the last level looks like.
Now I'm not gonna enjoy it. And this is it sort of reminds me of games coming, you know, at different times in different regions for Nintendo. Which I mean, I really doubt it's going to be a big gap. Like, I don't expect more than a month or two. So unfortunately, I don't think things are gonna change. But at the moment, I don't think that's a huge deal. The other thing that's unclear is whether there's going to be other apps that are time exclusive. I think this is going to be the only one. I think Apple just wanted to say we have Mario first. You know. Mm-hmm. I think with Animal Crossing and Fire Emblem.
Or it may even go the other way and Android gets Animal Crossing or Fire Emblem.
Oh, yeah, you never know. Yeah, there might be a trade-off. We'll see. So that's that question. Down two to go. We have third question from Arms MXC. How to ask a girl out, asking for a friend. Personally, I would propose in Mario Maker or Pokemon Go, as soon as they add trading, you can name your Pokemon, want to go to the movies this weekend, and then trade it with the girl of your dreams.
Will that name fit?
Yeah, you might have to abbreviate that a little bit.
Wanna move this week?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's a different question. Oops.
It's fine. But, so that's, I would do it via Pokemon Go, dude. Assuming
he doesn't play Pokemon Go.
Oh, then you're out of luck. I mean,
then you can go on Love Live and make your bio her Love Live name. Want to go out?
Right. Or you can do it in a public tweet, and just make it super awkward for everyone, especially like in just a weird public.
Yeah, just put a little dot and then at her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then want to go out, and then everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
And last question from different person. This one's from a different guy. From the Not So Wonderful 101. He asks, "How do you get over someone?" So this guy clearly is having the opposite problem.
You put a trampoline next to them and start bouncing. Once you feel you have enough height, you just jump off the trampoline, and hopefully you'll get over them and not hit them in the head or something.
I mean, worst case scenario, you brush your forehead with their toenails and they get a little bit scraped up. Or even worse, like it tears a little bit of their hair off. If they have a toupee or a hat or something, it's just gonna go flying if you miss. But really, like all you have to do is make sure, make it where your toes are kind of at their head's level. If they brush, it's not a big deal. But yeah, trampoline's probably gonna be your best bet, or better yet, like you could stand on one end of a plank and magnesis to pick up a big old boulder and just plop it on the other end. And just send yourself flying. So that could work too.
Or you could grow wings.
Oh yeah, I mean there are a number of options. Really, you should be fine. Mm-hmm. Really. And so our poll last week. I think was it the Zelda amiibo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we asked you guys last week, based on the new Nintendo Direct, which new Legend of Zelda 30th anniversary amiibo are you looking forward to most? And there was 8-Bit Link, Ocarina of Time Link, Toon Link, and of course Toon Zelda, as Nintendo refuses to call her. We got 44 votes, which is a pretty good turnout. Ocarina of Time Link won at 50%, so that would be 22% or 22 of the votes. Second place was Toon Link with 23. Third, 8-Bit Link with 20, and fourth, Toon Zelda with 7%. I personally would have expected Toon Zelda to beat Toon Link just based on the fact that we already have a Toon Link amiibo, so I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm really surprised by.
Yeah, but aside from that, the Ocarina of Time Link is my personal favorite as well, and I definitely think the 8-Bit is interesting. It's not my favorite, but it's, I'm sure some people like it.
I don't like how the 8-Bit ones look.
No, yeah, I personally like 8-Bit Mario, but not so much for Link. But some people like it, clearly. It got second place. So, yeah, hope you guys are looking forward to those. I believe they come out in December. And this week's poll, are you interested in Super Mario Run? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. There are going to be two options, yes or no. And, even if you plan on downloading it for free to try it, but maybe you don't know if you'll buy it or not, I would consider that to be a yes. So if you think you're going to give it a shot, vote yes. If not, vote no. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So look forward to that. And plugs for this week.
So I ended up posting that School Live review kind of late in the week. So here it is. Yay. It's being plugged again. Hype. And go watch Food Wars Season 2, Episode 9. This is like the first Unleashed episode. Actually, it is the first Unleashed episode that I actually saw that episode before plugging it. So, yay. Oof. And I can't make any promises on date, which is why it's not an official plug. But at some point in this week, there will be a new Flash Fire. So,
oh man, get ready.
Get
ready. And that's our pluggy. And so we just want to remind you guys of a few things before you go. First of all, we have a Patreon page where you can essentially give us just a little bit of money every month to help us support our creations and create new content. And you get some rewards too. Basically, if you pledge at least $1 a month, you get early access to our podcasts. That is Nintendo Unleashed, PlayStation Point, and Podcast Scorpio, and you get exclusive access to our monthly BlazeKick podcast where we discuss various topics. I believe the most recent one just went up, so a new one should be happening, I guess, later this month.
No, that's the first Tuesday of each month.
Got it. Yeah, so definitely check that out. If you have a little extra cash to spare and you're willing to help us out and get some extra content or early content or both. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you may be listening to this on. That is youtube.com/BlazeKickMedia. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and Google Play Music and leave a rating. You can follow. Oh yeah, ideally positive. Of course, freedom of speech applies, but positive reviews never hurt, did they? And be sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm at Dashy007. Connor.
Yes.
What is your at, my friend?
Oh, it is at Arms' girlfriend.
Got it. You can follow the podcast at Nin Unleashed, sort of just starting up that account now. Hopefully gain some more followers soon. And you can follow the website where we pretty much post everything at BlazeKick Tweet. And of course, be sure to visit blazekick.com. That's where you can find all of our content in one place.
Hype.
And thank you guys for listening. Be sure to enjoy the poll, and look forward.
Be sure to tweet at ArmsMXZ with lots of dank memes.
Oh yeah, and advice, of course. For, asking a girl out. If you have any pro tips, help a guy out.
And tweet the Not So Wonderful 101. Any more ideas for how to get over someone, because maybe he doesn't have access to a trampoline or a plank.
Yeah. So if there are any creative physics majors out there, we could use your help here. So that is it for this week. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.
Hype.